From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big early morning of Mornings Lalate as your recon has passed. The House members of the House Budget Committee on a Saturday night passes the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. Wow. In this recording, we'll go over all the incredible clusters of checks passed by that House subcommittee on a late Saturday night. Cluster number one, checks for individuals, including $51,000 of MSCs. Checks for vehicles, cars, trucks. Cluster number two, checks for students and the home. Cluster number three, checks for workers and also seniors, including checks for nearly every walk of this channel. But why did the vote not happen on Monday? Well, the president is reviewing it, not to sign it, but to make edits to it. And those edits could involve you. We're going to go over all the incredible details in this recording. Then we cut to the voting process. Fascinating twist because Democrats are battling over which vote happens and when it happens, but it's all beneficial to you. In a 5-day period in which a lot will be happening, we'll be cutting back to third stimulus. As an additional $13 billion is landing in your cities and counties and states, I'll be going over the debt ceiling limit and which vote is happening first and second, what's going on with this stimulus, and then the exciting news about your recon passing. We'll be going over what's going on with those MSC IRS stimulus checks. As more Democratic House members say they're putting it in there for you, I'll go over what advocacy looks like and why you need to advocate to the finish line. It's a big morning because the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering, the coffee is brewing, and the recon is passing the House Budget Committee. This is Early Morning Talent. Good morning, everybody. I hope you're having a beautiful morning across the globe. The weather cooled off here in Southern California. It feels like winter already. It's just one of those weeks. The President of the United States is reviewing the recon, which passed on Saturday night. The $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill passed, and now the president is caucusing and meeting and going over details of it. Why is it not going for a vote just yet? I'll explain the latest details in this recording, and we'll go over each cluster of checks. The ones the president wanted in there and the ones that Nancy wanted in there. We'll be going over those MSC IRS stimulus checks. Because guess what? The House members AOC, Omar, and Jalapal say they wanted in there as well. We'll be cutting back over to the exciting details about the $13 billion landing cities, county, state from third stimulus, and then over to the debt ceiling limit, because it's very confusing. I'll explain to you what it means for you, what it means to the voting process, and more. It's a big early morning broadcast, and this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America, live in the morning, taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, currently playing on this channel. Don't miss that show. It's covering also what's going on with the financial markets because it's very important to watch that. Then I'm back with you with Mornings Countdown at 7 o'clock and then a new Mornings LA at 9 a.m. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. This channel broadcasted live the breaking news as soon as it happened. When that reconciliation budget bill passed on a Saturday night, broadcast media closed, YouTube channels closed, print media closed. No one even covered it. Come Monday, did they cover it? I don't think they even knew it happened. Yeah, so that's why I'm here to go over incredible details of every penny that you can get starting right now. So subscribe, like the video, 3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right to the details starting right now. On Saturday night, the House Budget Subcommittee approved the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill. This is a huge one because they're the committee that approves the whole budgeting, the whole items, everything, the whole kick and cabana. I was going to call it a bill, but it's not a bill because it's not a bill until it's introduced to the House floor. It's basically the draft of what would be the bill. It's 2,400 pages in length, and it's called back the Build Back America Act. Of course, it's not an act until it's introduced to the House floor. So what happened? They called in remotely from their offices, their kitchens, their cars, their golf courses, and Democrats voted in favor of it. Republicans voted against it. It was done. All the clusters that I cover on this channel, the first 645 pages, that got in there. Cluster number 2, that got in there. Cluster number 3, got in there. Incredible details. Now, normally on any given day, I would say, okay, just call for a vote on the House floor. It's going to pass a second, a blink of an eye, sort of like a rubber stamp, because once the subcommittee for the Budget Committee approves it, then the floor of the House just does the same thing. But Pelosi held it back. Why? Because she's doing modifications for it for us. She's working on our benefit. So is AOC, Omar, and Jayalapal. She wants to hear from the senator. She specifically said negotiations are still continuing. The president as well. And even that same group, that AOC, Jayalapal, Omar, the progressives, House, not Senate, House, and Pelosi, also House, said to viewers of this channel they're still trying to get that stimulus check provision in there, IRS stimulus check. Wow. Now let's go over the first 645 pages of that 2,400-page potential bill that got in there, and let's go over all those incredible checks. Remember, the recon is not pandemic-related. It's for anything in life, so you don't have to be pandemic-related to get these monies. There's money in the first 645 pages for hazard pay, for individuals, seniors, for children, for $51,000 of MSE monthly stimulus checks, for the home, and for the college student, the bike, the car, and the new truck. Let's go over all the details. First, hazard pay. Boy, this channel has been the single biggest advocacy for hazard pay in 2020. With nearly 500 videos, I advocate for hazard pay every day on the day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month. And they got it in there. Hazard pay is going to be a lifetime. They took an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit, expanded the eligibility so more essential workers qualify for it, and then increased the amount of money. It's huge. Then up to $4,000 to care for an elderly person. This is a biggie. It got in there. Up to $4,000 a year to care for an elderly person. Eligibility is still pending for this one. And then on the flip side, up to $4,000 to care for a young child. Then college students got 3 grants in there. One to the university, one to them, and also the Pell's grant made tax-free. And what about $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks? Oh boy, it got in there with a big new twist. The CTC, the Child Tax Credit, will be expanded lifetime. So if you gave birth to a child on Saturday, congratulations. And if that's a low-income household, you'll get up to $300 every month. How does this work? For every month that the low-income household exists, you'll get up to $300 a month, every year for up to 18 years that you're eligible. And that is $51,000 per child. Now, a wonderful example of why the situation is very fluid. Stay with me throughout the day because things are happening on the hour. Yesterday, I was changing updates between mornings, noon, and afternoons. It was changing every few hours. On Saturday, at the 11th hour, they agreed to modify the CTC dramatically for one provision. If the parent is not a blood relative, it's not actually the biological parent, it's like a foster parent. The relatives all died, for example. They would normally not get paid anything. Horrible. Well, they figured out there was that misstep that they had to fix, and they got it in there. So it's the legal guardian of the parent of the child that gets this money. Wow, incredible, great news. Then they got money to repair the home. If that home is in a low-income community, there's going to be incentives to repair that home. Wow. And then they got money in there for vehicles, cars, and trucks. All electric, all U.S. auto manufacturer. First, up to 15% of the purchase price for a new electric bicycle. Then up to $7,500 for a new vehicle, a little bit more if it's business use. Then a little bit more if it's a truck. Wow. And there you go. That's the first of 3 clusters that got in there. In the past $3.5 trillion recon bill, I'm going to go over cluster number 2 and cluster number 3 in just a second. But let's go to the big surprise as we detour over to third stimulus. You're hearing the first time on Mornings Lalate, early Mornings Lalate, that Janet Yellen, your Treasury Secretary, really planned well. How did she plan well? Because she knew that the debt ceiling limit is looming this Friday, and she knew we may miss the deadline. So she got out every last penny from third stimulus she can get out. $13 billion for rent, utilities, and mortgage assistance had not gone out. She got it out last week. Treasury's happy to provide the state and local governments with the additional resources to support Americans in time of rental assistance. I'll go over how you get this money later in this video. Let's cut back to that. For stimulus, passed. Well, cluster number 2 passed. It is deliciousness because it's big money. First one, Paid family leave, paid medical leave. What is this? If they stay home because your wife is pregnant, family leave. You have to stay home because your son broke his leg, medical leave. Well, you're going to get paid from your employer, and the employer is going to get the money from the federal government. It's a lot of money. Up to $1,700 on a third stimulus, you make $70,000 or more per year, split in half. Let's say it's $35,000 a year as your salary. Then you get $800 a week, split in half again. Let's say you make $15,000 a year, you get up to $400 a week. Wow. Then they got a lot of other checks, no less than 12 other checks in this second cluster that is now passed. A buildup of child care programs, then expansion of household tax credits, including the child tax credit. Then checks for seniors like Medicare expansion, dental, vision, hearing. That's also in the third cluster. I'll get to that later. Then weatherizing your home, very well needed, especially the Purple Hawks on the roof. And you are Fox News. They're going to pay for weatherizing your home. Definitely need Hurricane Alley or Tornado Zone. And then we got two types of checks for education, more checks for education. The first one, universal pre-kindergarten free. Now, this is a very fluid situation. There was an article released late yesterday. I think I featured it for the first time on Evenings LA. It wasn't announced early in the day. It was announced late in the day that there's some legislators, and this is beyond my expertise. There are some legislators that think this one can't get in there because it needs to have something else modified, that they don't know how they can even implement it unless they modify some other thing under the code. Very, very complex. So that's why the situation is very fluid. Then tuition-free community college. Oh, really needed. There is going to be free community college across the country. So you can take that foreign language class that everyone is now taking. That foreign language class is called What the Hell is LA Saying? They just talk really funny in Los Angeles 101. Talk a Los Angeles dialect 202. Yeah, it's just, people just think we just talk a strange language. Maybe we do, but now you can be educated in that foreign language. Then we have checks for green energy, which, it's kale salad. Checks for kale salad. Boy, we're going to get to cluster number 3, checks in a second. But where's Congress? Where is Congress? Congress, have you seen them? Well, let me explain to you what Congress is doing, because this is actually perhaps the most fascinating part of the nuance of today. Congress is doing 3 items, which I exclusively reported no less than 2 months ago. I told you that House and Senate Democrats were negotiating what is included in there. They did. I told you that the House Democrats are writing it up in subcommittee. They did. I told you that the House subcommittee would vote first. They did. So what is next going on? Well, Pelosi specifically says negotiations are continuing. She said that Saturday night after they passed the recon. Who is she negotiating with? Now, she does say she's negotiating with the Senate, and that she's talking to the president whether he wants to modify some stuff as well. But the situation is very, very, very fluid. I mean, it is literally very fluid. We're hearing about stuff from Ron Wyden and taxes for super rich billionaires coming in, coming out. We're hearing about about provisions that are already in there getting modified. It's a very fluid situation. As I told you going into the weekend, the president did not want to make it look like a etched in stone. He wanted to make it look very fluid, and trust me, it is very fluid. Now, later in this recording, we'll go over the importance of the voting process, because we got 3 bodies of law going for a vote, potentially all in the same 4 days between Tuesday and Friday. Recon, roads and bridges, bipartisan, and the debt ceiling limit. Oh boy, yeah. But this is working in our benefit. I'm going to go to that later in this video. But let's cut to some more checks. Third cluster checks. Boy, there's a lot of them, and the president likes them. I like them. This is the president's cluster. So there are checks for free. There's checks for free school meals for all, checks. Tax break checks, cheaper prescription medication, checks for free internet, checks for farmers, checks for items like green energy, then checks for free internet, checks for workers like independent contractors, checks for seniors like dental, vision, hearing checks, and lowering eligibility age for Medicare. Now, there's an additional $107 billion in there. Excuse me? What happened with that one? Well, the Senate parliamentarian 2 weeks ago ruled that one of the provisions in there could not stay there. It's a check to judiciary. She said has to come out. I immediately went back in my notes. That article, by the way, the Senate parliamentarian buried. No broadcast media covered that. Anyone covered that. It was buried in the bottom of something else, and I found it. I'm like, so I went back in my notes and I looked it up, and it turns out It's for the judiciary, and the price tag was $107 billion. So guess where that money is going? You. It's getting reallocated to items for you. It's incredible. Then we got 2 other checks in there that are absolutely automatic. That's why the president likes them. That's why I like them. And the viewers in the comments have been saying they really like them as a lot. The first one is cheaper prescription medication. How can you not like this? You go to the pharmacy and fill a prescription today. Let's say you take 2 $20 bills out of your wallet. 2 $20 bills. This becomes law, then you go back and maybe you only have to take out 1 $20 bill because they're slashing prescription medication prices, instant savings to your wallet. And then they're going to offer free internet. They're going to give big money to cities, counties, and states, red, blue, rich, poor, so that they can offer internet companies at your city level. All you have to do is say, hey, what's the username and password for the Wi-Fi connection? The username is Blaine66. And the password is Scarfgate. Excuse me? Yes, Scarfgate. Oh, okay. All right. Sort of like moving goalposts. Yeah, exactly. That's how it's going to go. In the second half of this video, we have a lot coming up on this early morning's broadcast. Boy, folks, we got the voting process. We have 2 fractions in the House Democrats as to which vote goes first, how it goes first. Oh boy, is it a fluid situation. I'm going to explain to you what's going on. We're going to go over what's going on with those MSCs and why it looks like one group is very much protecting our back and one guy may be folding like a lawn chair. Then we'll be cutting to the big exciting details, a third stimulus, and then the nonprofits, refrigerator here, refrigerator there, just refrigerators for everyone. Boy, then we cut to fifth stimulus. It's a big early morning's broadcast. We're just getting started. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering and the refrigerators are landing, apparently. Refrigerators for all. I'll be back with you as the early morning's broadcast continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on early mornings LA because, boy, it is a big day across the globe. I'm so excited you join me because in the second half of this video, we have a lot coming up. As the president is reviewing what is now passed, the $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill, he's making his own edits, senators are making their own edits, and reportedly, I believe that House members are making edits as well. Because Jalapal Omar and Pelosi's office and AOC's office confirm they're still pushing to put a monthly IRS stimulus check in there as well. I'll go over all the details. We'll be cutting back over to third stimulus, we'll be cutting over to fifth stimulus, and we'll be going over to the debt ceiling limit. The morning is just getting started. It's a beautiful day, and I'm excited you join me, and this is Early Mornings LA. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. When breaking news happens, you hear it first on this channel. How many TV channels covered even the event of Saturday night? 0. How many print media? 0. How many YouTube channels? 0, except me. No one seems to even miss anything or catch anything unless, it's very basic. It's not basic when it comes to fourth stimulus. There's $3.5 trillion of checks in there, and I'm going to make sure you get every single check in that recon. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next up, 1 million. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Coming up next to this channel, Overnight's Crypto. Currently playing on this channel. Then Morning's Countdown at 7 a.m. and then Morning's LA at 9 a.m. Let's cut to the big surprise. As an additional $13 billion going out, well, Janet Yellen prepared really well. She's a smart person. She sensed the debt ceiling limit timeline of Friday may come up and may be missed. So she got the very last pennies out for rent and utilities because you need it. And now it's there. Every city, county, and state, red, blue, rich or poor, is getting that money and allocating it. They have it. Let's go over the big money for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance starting right now. Get that pen, paper, cell phone ready. I want you to understand that the money for rent in 30 days for Purple Hawks of this channel has gone up 200%, for utilities 300%, and for Snap 400%. Let's look at the numbers that members of this channel got a month ago. $20,000 to $20,000 for rent. Now viewers are getting over $40,000. When we look at the money for Snap for utilities, Mark, remember Mark, $51,000 Mark? There he is. Well, his brother-in-law got $15,000 for utilities. How about Snap? Mark's brother-in-law got $21,000. What's going on? Let's go over all the details on how you get this big money right now. I'm going to show you 6 places you reach out to. Reach out to all 6. They have different eligibility, different pots of money. Next, listen to the keywords I say in this video. Number 3, get ready for the nonprofits because it's refrigerators for everyone. I'm being facetious, but that sort of feels like it. Let's go over all the details starting right now. You're going to reach out to the following 6 places. City Hall, City House Authority. County Hall, County House Authority. State Hall and State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. Let's go over those 5 places again, 6 places again. City Hall, City Housing Authority, State Hall, State Housing Authority, and County Hall and County Housing Authority. Now, here's what you need to know is that if you're a member, which I hope you are, the link's under the video. Now in the newsletter, which goes out nightly about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I include in there the big money that was sent out from Treasury, the Treasury news statement. I want you to read that Treasury news statement before you call up. If you got money before, if you haven't gotten money, I want you to know it. So when you call up, if they don't have the money, you know what you're asking about. Can I be on the waiting list? We don't have a waiting list. Can I call you tomorrow? Because you know that they will have the money, so you know what it is. Next, reach out to all utility companies. If you have 5, reach out to 5. They have different pots of money. And then finally, the nonprofits. 2 viewers have now gotten refrigerators from this channel in the last week. The ice is jiggling. The cello is jiggling, as Chuck Hearn used to say. It just refrigerators for everyone. I just don't know what's going on. One viewer got a refrigerator, a furnace, and her window fix. Another viewer from another nonprofit got a refrigerator. It's only been a few days. We got a whole week ahead of us. Let's see if we can get, let's see if we can get refrigerators for everyone. I don't know what's going on, but the nonprofits are wonderful. Here are the 5 nonprofits: United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charity, St. Vincent de Paul. Why are the nonprofits so important? Number 1, they have different eligibility than the federal government. They are not the government. They are nonprofits. They do things their own way. Reach out to all 5 of them. Also, they do money. They pay for things that the federal government doesn't pay for. Federal government doesn't give you a refrigerator. They do appliances, small appliances. They sometimes do clothing. They sometimes help homeless people get into shelter. If you're a homeless viewer, watch this channel, reach out to those nonprofits. They get you into shelters. And then they just help with a lot of different things that I would never know. Even though I covered nearly 500 videos within those nonprofits in fall 2020 and early 2021 called Purple. Again, here are the 5 nonprofits, and boy, they are doing incredible stuff. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charity, St. Vincent de Paul. The great news is that a viewer that used St. Vincent de Paul reports they got money for rent approved, funded within 24 hours after approval, and the same thing for Salvation Army and United Way. So there we go. All right, let's turn to money for Snap. Snap is money if you get from Department of Agriculture, raises up an average of 25% lifetime automatically. Starting in October, yes. So Mark's benefits are going up Mark's brother-in-law's benefits are going up from 21 to 25%. Now, there's 2 letters in the mail, and people who are getting the first letter are freaking out, rightfully so, not your fault. There's a letter going out that says, hi, your benefit lift that went from January to September is ending, obviously, because it's supposed to end in September. It does not say in that letter that there's a second lift coming. It starts in October. So do not freak out if you get a letter saying you're stepping down in September. Well, guess what? We're almost in October. So you're stepping up in October, an average of 25% lifetime. Then the unemployment benefits. Yes. Refund check back from your state due to overpayment of unemployment benefits due to computer error. Average payment is $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for those routing times. And then finally, the refund check from IRS due to payment of the unemployment benefits on a 2020 return. Average payment is $1,200 to $2,000. Do an IRS transcript search at irs.gov to track it. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. Finally, if you've not become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP member of this channel, consider doing so. The membership link is under the video. Every night about 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, I deliver to members of this channel the newsletter, the Lalate newsletter, written by me, replacing formerly the Lalate PDFs. That newsletter has all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. The newsletter comes out via the YouTube member alert system and the Lalate alert system. The big money on the first, second, and third stimulus is there for you to get. That's how Johnny got $80,000, Mark getting $51,000, Lorraine $100,000. Lots of viewers getting $50,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000. I want you to get this big sums of money as well. What's important and what I want you to make a promise to yourself to do is the following. If you've gotten some money from this channel, like a Nisi or an Art Sullivan, I want you to get more money. If you haven't gotten money, I want you to get the money. I want you to lean on the nonprofits. I want you to get third stimulus. Number one. Third stimulus may not be repeated on a fourth stimulus. There's no indication there is repeating of the third stimulus items like rent on a fourth stimulus. Number two, the nonprofits are not busy at the moment. We've gotten that indication over and over again. They're not busy. It's late summer, early fall. It's not 20 below degrees outside yet. People are not worried about paying for their heating oil bill just yet. So they're not getting a lot of phone calls. This is the time to get as many things paid for. I want you to get all your money paid as far as you can into the future as you're eligible for, into 2022 for rent, utility, mortgage assistance. Go get that money right now. You'll feel so much better about it. And then finally, Salvation Army, they're starting to do the Children's Choice starting early October, so reach out to them as well. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this early morning's broadcast, starting right now with your $3.5 trillion recon passed. Boy, we got a lot coming up, so stay to the very end because it is a jam-packed broadcast. First, Saturday evening, a $3.5 trillion reconciliation budget bill passed the House Budget Subcommittee. I say the word bill, but it's really not a final bill because a bill is not a bill until it's introduced to a House floor, a Senate floor, and then gets an HR on it. This is actually what would be the bill. 2,400 pages, called the Bill Back Better. But Pelosi's office, AOC, Jalapal's office, and Omar confirmed to viewers this channel that they're still pushing to put that IRS MSC check in there, even on Monday. This is huge because if that's the case, you need to keep on advocating. Even with that, I would have also said you need to keep on advocating because we have the House floor vote, we have the bill, we have to see the bill, then we have the House floor vote, then we have the Senate vote-a-rama, and then we have the Senate vote. So you still have to advocate. What's important to understand is that over the last 8 weeks, over 1,000 viewers of this channel have been told by senators and House members, staffers, that there absolutely categorically is a monthly stimulus check provision, IRS, in there. Let's go over what those senators told viewers of this channel, and let's go over what the House members said to this channel, and let's go over each of them one at a time. It started 8 weeks ago when WR, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and called Senator Democrat Chris Coons, an advocate for a stimulus check. And Senator Chris Coons' office, after that advocacy from WR, said yes. Senator Chris Coons is putting a monthly stimulus check in there. 3 weeks ago, things changed very quickly. As I told viewers, the following things. One, I believed that the House would be writing the bill. I was right. I believed that the negotiations would be between the House and Senate Democrats. I was right. And that the House would vote first. I was right. At that time, 3 weeks ago, Bernie Sanders, who was the guy who got the $3.5 trillion price tag, said, unlike prior budget chairmen of the Senate, I like to get amongst the people when I'm writing a budget bill. I said, if you listen to that, that sounds like he wants to hear from you. So pick up the phone and advocate. And that's what Lynn Glenn did, Margaret did, and Brother Joshua did. Brother Joshua, 2020, volunteered to the community page, picked up the phone and advocated a stimulus check to Bernie Sanders' office. And they said, yes, it's in there. Let's go over what advocacy looks like for a second. What does advocacy look like? It's, I need a stimulus check. This is why my family needs it. My community needs it. My church needs it. I need to tell you why I need it. The advocacy of this channel really became so impressive in the last few days. As Margaret, another Margaret, picked up the phone and advocated with Senate staff. Honestly, I and the woman on the phone started crying when I explained everything my girls and I have been through. And then another viewer called up and said, I need this. I've lost my husband. Now I've had 10 surgeries since his passing. And I'm trying to raise 2 teenage daughters through hardships. And I'm having SSI and SSDI. It's not enough. I need that monthly stimulus check. It was 3 weeks ago that Brother Joshua, 2020, volunteered to the community page, has gotten viewers thousands of dollars for rent and utilities in fall 2020. Picked up the phone and advocated to Senator Sanders' office. And Senator Sanders' staff told Brother Joshua emphatically and clearly, yes, there will be a monthly stimulus check in there. $1,000 to $1,400, 3 to 6 months. But Senator Sanders needs to hear your support. Listen to those keywords because I'm going to bring them back later in this video. Sanders' office saying, yes, it will be in there. And when he said he needs to hear your support, well, we showed him he has our support. As Donnie picked up the phone and advocated. This is a message. Every message you're seeing on the camera on this video is a private message that viewers have sent me repeating back what Senate and House offices told them. Here is Donnie's incredible message that he had about his call. I called Bernie. You can read it along with me. I called Bernie Sanders, and his secretary said they are doing a forced stimulus check. I said, this is what I need. My city needs it. I need to progress and to lectured about my water and everything I told her. And she said, okay, they are doing a forced stimulus check. Twice in that one message from Donnie, Sanders' office confirmed they're doing a forced stimulus check. Then Hurricane Tina picked up the phone. I called Bernie Sanders' office. I got through, and they did say they're putting another forced stimulus check in there. There's the message from Hurricane Tina confirming her conversation with Sanders' office. Then Lori, I called Bernie Sanders' office and put a big vote in for us. And then Yaya I called another Wyden staffer who said he wants SS200 in there as promised. Carolyn Smith, I called Bernie Sanders' office and talked to the secretary, told her we need help out here. People are losing their homes and what they got. And she agreed. And Bernie also is putting a stimmy check in there, says Caroline, repeating the message. Will showed us you need to call not one office, but 3 offices. I called Bernie, Schumer, and all 3 of the secretaries confirmed a stimulus check. I explained my situation. I was told, yes, it's happening by both Bernie, Schumer, and Liz Warren's offices. Liz Warren's office asked me what kind of checks I would like. And I explained I want the American petition. And they said they are on board with that. And they said Senator Warren is putting $1,400 to $2,000, 3 to 6 months in there. Lorica then told us that Bob Casey's office said much the same. In fact, Casey's office said, the girl I talked to said, yes, they're in negotiations now for the amount of the stimulus checks. By that point, it was overwhelming. Nearly 1,000 viewers of this channel by that point had been told by nearly a half different Senate Democratic staffers, Coons, Sanders, Warren, Schumer, Casey, and Wyden, that there is a monthly stimulus check in there. You can't make it any clearer than that. Over nearly 1,000 viewers at that point been told by half a dozen different staffers from different Senate offices that there absolutely is a monthly stimulus check in there. But I said, hey, let's focus on the House members also. Why? Because AOC and Omar had written that letter saying they want $2,000 in there. They're going to put it in there. Because Jalapal had written the House bill that said $1,000 a month after the first month pandemic plus 1 year. And that Pelosi had always supported Jalapal and also AOC and Omar. They're very good friends. Well, I said pick up the phone, and that happened about 2 weeks ago. As Paul picked up the phone and called AOC's office, and the confirmations came on the House side as well. AOC's office telling Paul the following. Let's read Paul's message in this video. Paul wrote the following right here. Here it is. Couldn't find it. I called AOC's office. She wants it to be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 12 months. She assured me that they're adding it to the bill. Janice made a separate phone call. She called every congressperson, and Janice called Jayalapal, and also they did say yes for stimulus check is in there. Then Mark really took us to another level when Mark called Pelosi's office and advocated for a stimulus check. And Pelosi's office said yes. Her staff told me that there would be a forced stimulus check in there for that $2,000 the first month and $1,000 thereafter for 12 months, and that they're negotiating right on it right now. By the end of the week, we had viewers, overwhelming number of viewers, over 1,000 viewers, confirmed by now House and Senate Democrats that the inclusion is happening. AOC, Jayalapal, Pelosi, Omar on the House side, and then the Senate Democrats. So, what should we see as the situation right now? You always have to presume something's not in there. Why? Because we got steps to go through. Passage in the House subcommittee, a huge, wonderful one. But you have to understand, we still have to have the final bill. Then we have to have the bill voted on. The bill can be modified before voted on the House floor. Then it can be approved on the House floor. Then it can be modified on the Senate floor. 2-day vote-a-rama where they modify it with amendments. That's why it's called a vote-a-rama. So House members can modify it. Senate members can modify it. What was sort of the aura of Monday? The aura of Monday was sort of the following. That AOC, Jayalapal, Omar, and Pelosi absolutely have your back on this IRS stimulus check. The aura from Sanders' office, not so robust anymore. Let's remember that Bernie Sanders was the guy that folded like a lawn chair in 2020. Promised a lot, delivered very little. In fall 2020, he was the guy who said to the American people, when the second stimulus provision lands in the Senate, myself and Josh Hawley will block it unless it's $2,000. Remember that one where he promised to block the vote on the Senate side? He promised it once. Then he said, I'll give you a delay. I'll give you an extension for 1 week. Come back and do $2,000. When they came back, they said, no, we're not doing $2,000. We're going to do $600. He said, okay, whatever. Folded like a lawn chair. So is he folding like a lawn chair right now? We don't really know. But what we do know is what Pelosi has said. She is the lead negotiator. She has told Dragon and countless viewers of this channel. She advocated for $1,400 to $2,000 for 12 months. She says the negotiations are near complete, that the inclusion is happening to viewers like Mark and countless other viewers. And then we have AOC, Jayalapal, and Omar's office consistently reporting they want to include it in there. In a verb tense, it sort of sounds like maybe it's still not in there, but they're going to add it in there. That's where you need to focus on your advocacy. You need to advocate with Jayalapal, Omar, that's O-M-A-R, AOC, and Pelosi, all House Democrats. Advocate by saying, this is what I need, this is what my family needs, this is what my church needs. Remember, these elected officials are not Western Union. They're not Western Union. They are not here to be tracking instruments. Can you tell me when I'm getting it? Where, when, how? No, don't treat them like a tracking device. That's awful. You treat them like respect, advocating why you need something, because those are the people who absolutely advocate for you. Let's go over to now the voting process. Oh boy, this is a fluid situation. This is a very fluid situation. It could literally change between morning, afternoon, and evenings today. Why? We got 3 bodies of law to be voted on, folks. And let me tell you what's going on. On Monday, the deal was that Pelosi would start the voting on the roads and bridges per her agreement with the prom creator. Now, she didn't promise she would pass it. She just promised she would start it. She didn't promise she would finish it, and she didn't promise it would pass. But what does voting process mean? First, you do debate, and then you do the yes or no. Well, the progressives on last Friday said no, they're going to vote it down. They're going to vote the roads and bridges down. Going into Monday, we got by Monday evening, we got suggestions that as to the whole process of the roads and bridges, they may not call for a vote until Thursday, if not Friday, a yes or down vote, even though they'll be debating on the House floor. Then, will the recon go for a vote first or second or concurrently? Well, this is where the battleground is lying. House progressives want the recon to pass. ASAP. House moderates want the roads and bridges to pass right away, ASAP. Who determines what goes first? Pelosi. What is she in favor of? The recon. She's not in favor of the roads and bridges. She's said that 1,000 times. I don't have to keep on running the quotes. And Jalapal, AOC, Omar, all progressives, all want your recon. So you got the right people in your right quarter for the very first time of this channel. Everyone you want is in your right quarter. What do I think is going to happen? I think there's really two possibilities. Maybe three possibilities. Either the recon is voted at the same time as the roads and bridges, or the recon goes first, or the roads and bridges goes first and is killed by the progressives, which they're going to kill it. They absolutely have enough people to kill it. They're going to vote it down. And then they pass the recon, then they come back to the roads and bridges and then approve it. I think the last possibility is the most likely one. In the next 4 days, between Tuesday and Friday, they also have to do the debt ceiling limit vote. What about that? Well, I'll explain that in a second. Let's turn to the debt ceiling right now. First, are your checks going to arrive on time? They are. If you receive Social Security benefits checks, you're a federal employee, you're a federal agency employee, all your checks are arriving on time this week, next week. For the next 2 weeks, they're all arriving on time if we miss Friday's deadline. If we are still doing this for 2 months into December, let's check back. It's very common they miss the deadline for a few days, a few weeks. No one's checks are delayed whatsoever. Next, is the funding of the recon impacted by the budget bill? No. The funding of the budget bill is to pay for the debt ceiling limit, is to pay for existing law. The recon is not existing law yet. Number three, does the fact that they're doing three things at the same time impair us? No, in fact, it may help you. The debt ceiling limit bill already approved out of the House. They already voted on this last week. It's already out of the House. It's in the Senate. But the fact that they're doing three bodies of legislation at the same time works in your benefit. The debt ceiling limit and the roads and bridges are supposed to be bipartisan. So if they are bipartisan, they can do them together. And then the roads and then the recon, not so bipartisan, but it's all in the same universe. What happens is that in 2020 and fall 2020, when Democrats had a lot of things to do at the same time, they get a lot of stuff done. They get a lot of stuff done when they have the opportunity to done. It's a crunch time. It really is absolute crunch time. As Pelosi calls this next 4 days between now and Friday, the next few days will be a time of intensity. It can blow up. It can smoothly sail. They can figure it out. I got to tell you, my impression of the situation, it's a very fluid situation. It's a very fluid situation. I don't see a way that the debt ceiling limit's going to be done unless someone makes a concession, and we don't see that concession. This sort of push back and forth between the progressives and the moderates about recon and infrastructure, very fascinating. But I think the only way you solve it is you kill the infrastructure first. You call for vote, kill it, and then do the recon and pass and say, hey, I told you so. And then call the roads and bridges again. If you want to pass it, then you pass it, because then you've passed both of them. Meantime, the inclusion of that IRS MSC check, you still need to advocate. The great news is that now that the recon has passed that House subcommittee, all these clusters of the first, second, and third are in there. $3.5 trillion of checks are in there. They're going to stay in there. There's no likelihood they'll really change. But the inclusion still can happen if it already has not happened. You have to always assume it hasn't and need to push down to the finish line. Finally, fifth stimulus, raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, and veterans benefits. Removes the asset cap, removes the income cap, and applies and removes the marriage penalty. Then applies the inflationary benchmark, which raises your benefits up more later this year and every year thereafter. It's a big day, so stay with me throughout the day because the situation is very fluid. You don't know what's going to happen with changes to the recon. We don't know what's going to happen with reaction to advocacy. We don't know what's going to happen to the voting process, the roads and bridges, and we don't know what's going to happen with the debt ceiling limit, even though it looks like that may lapse. It's a very fluid situation with a lot of major things happening, even as this recon makes a historic milestone in passing from that House subcommittee for the Budget Committee. And with that, I'm so excited for you to join me throughout the day. Mornings, countdown is at 7 a.m. Then mornings Lalate live at 9 a.m. And currently playing on the channel is Overnights Crypto. So with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. The coffee's brewing, the toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here. Don't forget to sign up for those Lalate alerts. Totally free. The link's in the description. And I'll see you next on Overnight.